Hello. Welcome, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. For who doesn't know me, I'm Michaela. I know that we probably have exchanged a few emails, but now you get to see my face as well. I know it's been published on the website as well. But it's nice to have you all here. We're just going to be waiting a few minutes just to make sure that everyone who was interested in joining can join. With me on the call today, there is Archie, which has just recently joined the team and is supporting the Digital Champion Network. We have Chloe, which you might already know. And we have AJ from STEM Education. I'm just going to add new people as we go. The meeting should allow you to have your microphones on. So if you need anything, feel free to unmute yourself and ask us. There is also the chat. So we're going to try our best to keep an eye on the chat if there is anything that you want to ask as we go, but there is going to be some time to ask some questions. There we go, more people. Welcome,
okay,
everyone.
I'll keep adding people for you, Michaela, so you don't have to worry about it.
Thank you. Oh, that's fine. Thank you. As I said, we're just gonna be waiting 3 more minutes, maybe 2 more minutes, and then we can start. How are we today? Are we all good? It's a Monday.
Yeah,
good.
all good here, especially now I'm retired. Every Monday's good. Every Monday is good.
Oh, Dave, I can't wait until I can say the same. Lovely. I think we're just waiting for a few more people, but we can probably start. So for the latest people who have joined, I'm Michaela. I have just recently taken over the Digital Champion Network. So you might have exchanged a few emails with me in the past. It's nice to put a face to names as well. And I'm really happy that you can come along today to this networking event, which is the first one that I am leading. So thank you. And what else to say? We are gonna shortly we're gonna hear from AJ from STEM Learning. Just as a reminder, if you can keep your microphones muted as we hear from AJ. And then if you have any questions, there is the chat and you can raise your hand and unmute yourself as well if there is anything more urgent. We are also going to be recording the session. So if you don't wish to have your face appearing in the recording, feel free to switch off your cameras. If not, it's always lovely to see people in the recording as well. I think Chloe will aim at taking a picture at some point of all our lovely faces as we go through the training and through the event. And I believe we can start. So AJ, if you want to introduce yourself.
I can do. Good. I think it's now good afternoon. Yep, we're into good afternoon. So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ad Sharman. I'm the regional lead for STEM learning across the whole of the southeast, but I also have the strategic lead for London as well. And I'll come on to. Would you like me to start the presentation now, or?
Yeah, we can do.
We can go kick straight in. I think one of my colleagues, James Bennett, is struggling to get in on your link, Michaela. I'm not quite sure why. So okay. I'll kick off, and if James doesn't appear, bless him, I will run through the presentation myself. It's not a problem. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now, which is very dangerous when it comes to computing and everything else I deal with. So let's have a go. hopefully you will, Michaela, I can see your face nicely. Hopefully you can see that okay. Yep, and I'll go to slideshow. Hopefully all being well, you should be able to see that clearly now. So yeah, as I said,
it's still showing as not as the presentation isn't started.
How's that?
There you go. Brilliant.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Done. Right. So yes. So thank you. First of all, thank you to you, Michaela. Thank you to Chloe and the wonderful Chloe for allowing us to spend a bit of time with you today. So some of you will probably be aware of STEM learning. Some of you actually may well be STEM ambassadors already. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about a story around where we're going with computing and technology and digital skills at the moment at STEM learning. So I'm literally going to race through some slides here if I can, which will also be available at the end of the presentation, really, to anybody who wishes to have them. So I said I'm the regional lead for STEM learning across the Southeast. Why is STEM a big focus for us? Well, we can talk about a lot of things around science, technology, engineering, and maths, which is what STEM's stands for. But ultimately, we have a huge skills shortage at this moment in time, not only in areas like engineering and construction, which many people talk about, but actually in technology and digital skills of young people coming through and seeing a career destination of choice for them. So it's a real issue, not just in the UK, but an international issue. And I think many of you will realize, if you've been working with schools, that actually young people don't have a perception of careers in a number of STEM areas. So we have a real job on our hands as STEM learning, working closely with government to drive this agenda. And STEM learning itself is a very busy organisation. We work across professional development around science and computing for teachers and technicians, senior leaders across the board. We have a residential STEM learning centre up in York, which offers support for teachers around CPD from a residential perspective. And we also, as we'll go on to explain, lead partner around the STEM Ambassadors Programme. We have a number of delivery partners across the country. Thankfully, we have a delivery partner that looks after the Southeast, and a wonderful one at that. And James will come on to talk a little bit about the STEM Ambassadors Programme in a short while. And also just thought this would be really important for those most disadvantaged in society, and I focus a lot of my attention on that, is to ensure that young people have an opportunity to involve themselves in areas of research as well. So we actually lead the Science Research Placement Scheme as well, which allows young people, particularly year 12, post 16, to have a period within a research environment, whether it's in industry or in the universities. So we're very active in a number of STEM field areas. We have what I call just about 30,000 role models across the country, STEM ambassadors particularly, who give up their time for free to work in schools. We very extensive when it comes to the number of teachers we work with, etc. We have over 32 computing hubs around the country. Their job is to provide CPD support for teachers and technicians within schools. And we have over 28 science learning partnerships, and their job is to really elevate the science CPD agenda. So a very active organization. But I think today, particularly for the digital skills perspective and the digital champions that are here, I really want to focus my attention around employer engagement and the STEM Ambassadors Programme, and something I'll talk about later, which is computing ambassadors, which I'll just mention now. So the perceptions of young people around computing is quite entertaining, but it's also entertaining when you think about biopharma and healthcare as well. They think about people in science in really weird ways. They still have the lab coat culture, unfortunately, about scientists being in lab coats. They also think a lot of scientists are male, balding, which actually, unfortunately, I am. And but they also have these really bad understanding of certain kind of young people within the young people have this kind of understanding about what a career looks like, but also the people that work in those careers. So I have some myth busting that I need to be involved in as well. At this moment in time, I'm going to turn you on. Hopefully James is here, because I did see, I think, him join. I might be wrong. James, thank you for joining. James, the floor is yours now. I'll introduce you as the lead for the STEM Ambassadors delivery partner across the whole of the Southeast. James.
Hi, everyone. It's great to meet you all. And really today it's just to discuss about the STEM Ambassador programme, give you a brief overview and about the different things what we do to try and support the next generation across the South East. So firstly, if you've not heard about the STEM Ambassador programme, it's actually a UK national programme where we have over 25,000 STEM ambassadors who give up their time to support the next generation. We do that through different requests from schools, but also we work with non-school groups as well. So we try and support primary, secondary, further education and non-school groups. And we're here about just trying to get them young people engaged, to find out about the different careers and take through lots of different opportunities and what we can do. So as displayed just here is I wanted to highlight some different activities, what we do across the South East. Some of them are quite unique to us and some of them are more global and national. So some examples would be something like we do a Code Club. We actually work with them across the UK, specifically in the South East, where STEM ambassadors actually help to support run these actual activities in primary and secondary school. Especially in primary, we find more ambassadors actually support because actually the primary teachers isn't taught in terms of computing, is not their expertise. So they do sometimes like struggle with running these type of activities. And that's where it's great to have these STEM professionals to come in and actually support the overarching programme and to give advice to the school, but also to work with the children and actually find out a bit more about actual STEM ambassadors themselves and actually what career they do. In addition, something we've been supporting for the last couple of years is Young Coders Competition. So that's actually a joint working relationship with us and another STEM ambassador delivery partner in East Midlands, working collaboratively together to do an annual national coding competition, what's called Young Coders. It's been going for the last 5 to 6 years. Personally for me, it's my first time being involved myself. But so far we've had over 1,200 registrations and that's across the whole UK. And it's aimed at Key Stage 2 and Key Stage 3. And the whole point of the competition is to have a theme and then to get actually to code a actual game, what is actually judged by STEM ambassadors. And then what's great, they'll have a select of finalists where we're expecting about 10 to 20 finalists. And then actually our junior school, where be a cohort of Year 5 children will actually do the final judging. So it's actually judged by some professionals and the final judging is actually done by children, so their own peers, and what's quite unique in that respect. And it keeps just growing year on year. So we're hoping 2025 will be even bigger than this year. In addition, something what we do lots in the South East is lots of virtual live talks. So we usually focus on, specifically, we've been doing recently Friendship Week and National Careers Week, and been working with lots of different organisations, but more specifically for the tech industry. We worked with Google Cloud, and I've actually got one tomorrow with NPL on quantum computing. And I think the great things about these is for young, especially for teachers, where it's so accessible, being virtual, actually supporting that to happen, also the amount of reach. So sometimes on these calls, you might get 20 schools. We've had our biggest so far is over 1,000 schools join at once. So it's about, sometimes it's about reach, but it's the whole point. It's about accessibility. We find schools really prefer now where they can actually just use these opportunities to actually get children to be aware of these types of careers. And the other great thing with this is the live Q&A. What's actually the most important element. It's great to hear about STEM professionals and their career, but also getting the children to ask the questions what they might not have that opportunity and to find out about the amazing opportunities out there in industry. And lastly, something what we're working with a local computing hub with Nicola on the call, we're starting to develop a digital community lab. So what it is, this is stemmed from actually doing something what we've been doing for many years is a chemistry focused lab where children would go down to Discovery Park down in Sandwich and actually work with some STEM professionals who are scientists in an actual industry lab to do some different experiments what they couldn't do in school. From that success, as you can see, we've had over 500 students with 42 sessions, and all the schools secondary age actually coming from Kent and afar, is to use that, seeing it's been a success, actually develop it further and to do a digital element of that, where it'd be coding activities led by computer facilitators, Also, we're looking to get young people more involved, especially like students who are studying, to actually help them as well, learn a bit more about coding and actually teaching to their peers, but also to get more peer-to-peer with actually working in groups. So this is what we're still working on currently, and we're hoping to launch later this year. And also we're hoping with the Digital Community Lab, just so you're aware, actually not to be focused on one area. So yes, we'll have a base at Discovery Park and Canterbury Christ Church University, but also going out to the schools themselves, because actually we know sometimes the barriers of transport is huge on schools and getting to cover and everything else. So we're looking at different ways to make that a bit more unique in its way. On to the next bit. So what are STEM Ambassadors? So the great thing about STEM Ambassadors, they go through a whole set of training. So when you register, you'd have to do an online induction, what takes about 45 minutes, and goes through safeguarding and other elements of a program as a nice introduction. And then every single person goes through a enhanced DBS check. So the heart of the program is to make sure every volunteer is actually safe to work with young people. And that's what the whole point of teachers know is actually a trusted resource. And that's the whole point why STEM Ambassadors are a really big key, and schools actually do trust this particular program. Also on here is about encouraging and inspiring the next generation. We do lots of different events to support schools, also to try and meet their requests. So it's about trying to get these young people more engaged, and hopefully might think actually STEM might be for them. And I think it's about actually showcasing the world of work, but through, especially careers, actually find out what type of careers are out there, because sometimes actually young people don't realise even these exist. And I have to say, since I've been working on the programme for the last 8 years, the most recent one has to be with NPL. I did not know atomic clock scientist even existed as a job title. So it's always learning, even just for our own adults, for us out there, actually work with different jobs. Some examples that I've mentioned throughout already, with Career Talks is one of our biggest now. Also, we do large scale science festivals. So I'm actually right now working on a science jamboree, what's hosted actually at Discovery Park, and it's 29th anniversary to get the transition. So from year 6 going from primary to secondary, to try and get them really inspired and infused to think about science and STEM and throughout. Also, we do online mentoring and also lots of different other activities. And here's just some examples of what we've been doing throughout, especially where during the COVID years, where we couldn't do face-to-face, we got straight onto virtual, and we now do a more blended approach going throughout, because we see that need of, especially face-to-face is really needed for young people, but actually still to have that variety of blended as well, where maybe the STEM ambassador can't make it down because they live so far away from the school. And this is just an example of the different things we've been doing for the past last 6 months, back last year. So doing like STEM at home, so it's always on demand for access for anyone to access about find out STEM professionals and their careers. And then we do lots of other events what will be aimed at particular things, e.g. With our virtual STEM Fest, what we used to do, where it's having a variety of live activities, what they could do in a classroom, to support for teachers to, especially for celebrating national weeks, i.e. British Science Week, where schools do enjoy having that support network. Otherwise, it can be very onerous on them to deliver in school. So just a recap, really, if you do want to become a STEM ambassador, what I'd highly recommend, as it's just a great program, would be, using the link what I've provided on the screen, click to become a STEM ambassador. That's the most important bit. And then going through that process with the online induction, then you would have a DBS, what's free of charge. And it's started by our central registration team at STEM Learning. And then once your DBS application comes back clear and that your DBS has been approved, you'll be have access to become a approved STEM ambassador. Also want to mention that throughout you always are supported. So like by myself at the South East Delivery Partner, but also with our central team at the central registration team as well at STEM Learning. And also there'll be ongoing support. So they have lots of online courses to help you develop your sales and actually to try and support you with volunteering. Also actually really like the how to explain your job to an 8-year-old to try and help you level, make sure you're actually aiming it at the correct level, as it can be very much more harder to explain stuff to younger children compared to older children. And that's been developed all the time. And also there'll be lots of online on-demand courses, what's available throughout, what you can access 24/7.
James, thank you very much indeed. And the STEM Ambassadors program, and I'll come on to Computing Ambassadors, is a really great route into engaging with STEM learning on a long-term basis. I'm now going to hand you on to Nicola very quickly on the Maidstone and Kent Computing Hub, which STEM Learning also manages on behalf of the UK PLC and government. So Nicola, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Aj. You'll be able to move my slides on, won't you? Because yeah, thank you. That's great. I think we've already covered this a little bit, but I mean, this is just a sort of snapshot of why computing is so important, which all of you will know because you've already been working in the digital industry anyway, but it contributes so much to the UK GDP, and we really need to support our young people to take those new technical roles in the future. Just to give you an overview, we have a hub here in Maidstone. We have another one in Dartford. I'm actually, like James, I'm the regional coordinator for the South East, so I cover all of those areas in purple and green that you can see on the map, and down to West Sussex and Hampshire as well. Our primary thing is to offer subject support for all state-funded schools, so that's primary, secondary, and colleges, and you know, as I said, there are 645 organisations just across Kent. We offer a wide range of CPD opportunities for teachers to upskill them so that they can enthuse and engage their students, and we also offer a wide range of student events. And I've added a few sort of images in of things that we've had going on over the past 12 months or so to kind of give you a flavour of things of how you might support as a computing ambassador. So one thing that already James mentioned is about Code Club and coding. We have kits available from our hub, which schools can borrow for a term at a time. I've just sort of shown some of those things there. So we have microbits, we have Raspberry Pi, we have some data loggers, which is crossover between science and computing as well, and BBots, which is down at Key Stage 1 level. Although we don't actively run code clubs ourselves from the hub, but we do support them and we offer resources and advice and so on. And you know, we like to sort of match ambassadors with people if we can. This is one of the events that we've had going on in the past few months, Move and Code, which is really trying to engage girls with computing. We are still seeing that although girls do actually do very well at computing GCSE, less of them choose it. So we're really trying to offer some creative opportunities, enrichment opportunities for girls to see how they might consider, you know, studying computing to GCSE and beyond. And this is one of the activities that we had at MUGS. Another large event that we did last week is this Scrapbot Creator Challenge. We actually held this in East Sussex, but you can see in some of the images there is that we did have some ambassadors there on the day who really got stuck in and came along and helped those students to figure out their coding. They were doing some simple programming to power lights and movement and build some robots, and the feedback has been wonderful because the students really felt the ambassadors were approachable, and the ambassadors get a lot out of it too. Another event, sorry, this says 2022, but we do actually do this every year. We take part. So BEMA is the British Interactive Media Association. They run this competition every year, and we get in industry support from that to help students go through the the competition criteria, which they have to go through in a day, and then work on their project to submit it. And that digital expertise is really invaluable. So it's really useful to have more ambassadors for that. Another enrichment activity that we do on a regular basis is we bring in a partner to run a drone assault course. This again is like teaching girls to code and to look at engineering, because they have to create an assault course to fly a drone through. So there's lots of moving parts. There's lots of lots of sort of DT applications and all sorts of things there. And the ambassadors' help is invaluable. Lastly, we are involved in Aspiration Digital, which is a large careers event, a digital careers event, which happens every year. I know that the Digital Champions team were actually hugely supportive of this year and were there attending. If you are already working in a business who you think might actually like to come along to this event, then we can definitely put you in touch with the organisers. Sorry, my slides are going very, very quick. That's fine. This year we had close to 500 students there, and those are all those are male and female and aged, sort of 16 to 18, all looking for their next steps. And this is a really great way for them to consider going into the digital industry, whether they want to be programmers, or they want to work in marketing, or they want to work in business account management and so on. There is something for everyone at this event. And we're really grateful for Digital Champions to sort of be supporting it as well. So that's about it. Thank you, Aj. This is my contact details. So if you would like to get involved in anything with our computing hub or offer your time, then we would be really pleased to hear from you. Or likewise, if you have similar to James, we are always open to career talks or code club support or any large event support. So yeah, really be keen to hear from you. Thank you.
Brilliant, Nicola. Thank you very much indeed. And I just want to say that in the last couple of slides, really, it's a bit of a call to arms, really, with the Digital Champions. I would absolutely love you to become STEM ambassadors, and more importantly, we're now creating a new subset of STEM ambassadors on the platform called Computing Ambassadors. And the purpose of all of this Computing Ambassadors is to make it easier for schools and teachers to actually access role models that they require to really bring this subject alive. As you'll see from the information that you've heard from at the moment, inspiring that next generation, and particularly around computer science and digital skills and coding and programming, and this big set of letters of AI now is really quite important. And actually having a digitally aware young population coming through is absolutely critical. So my call to arms to you as Digital Champions supporting Kent County Council and Chloe and Michaela is it doesn't affect you becoming a STEM ambassador. In fact, if anything, it enhances what you're doing, hopefully. And I'd like to invite you to become STEM ambassadors and computing ambassadors to really drive forward this agenda going forward. And the last thing I'd just like to say is that there's a lot of support for computing ambassadors that will be online. There are some links there, which I will share with you with these slides anyway. But my real kind of call to you really is that come and have fun too. This isn't just about, changing young people's minds, however critical and important it is. I want to offer you something where you get something of real benefit from it. And I believe me, there's nothing more beneficial than seeing you change a young person's mind, particularly a girl or a boy at school, about the real beauty of digital skills, computing and technology going forward. And at that moment in time, I'm going to stop sharing, if I may, and hand back to Michaela. And I hope that's been very useful.
Thank you so much to everyone. It was brilliant. I think myself and probably a lot of other people on the call learned a lot. And as you said, it really goes hands in hand with the Digital Champion and the work that we are doing. So it's brilliant to know that there are more opportunities for all of us to support the community in many different ways, and also have fun, because we never stop learning. So everything is a new opportunity for us to learn more skills and help people with them. if anyone has any question, feel free to raise your hands or unmute yourself. Oh, Dave, already? Yeah, brilliant. Oh, you're still muted.
Yeah, I think I'm on
There you
on air now. Yeah, a lot of the emphasis seems to be on coding, and I'm personally have done absolutely zilch in the way of coding. Is that a prerequisite to becoming a STEM ambassador, or if training in coding is given as part of induction or development, that would be useful to know.
I'll start, James, if I may. Absolutely no prerequisite. Actually, what the difference that a role model makes to young people is in so many several ways. So actually working on computing and digital skills and technology, it's actually also given them a perception of the kind of opportunities open to them in terms of career opportunities and the background. So the coding element is just examples of things that we've got in programming, but actually a number of our ambassadors who come from digital skills, technology and computing have enrichment themselves in different ways. So they kind of use, I mean, gaming is a big area and it's really interesting as well. So there is no restriction on a STEM ambassador coming from a computing and a technology background of what they wish to do and how they wish to engage. And James, you might want to suggest something about the coding side, because I know that the Code Club, for example, are very eager to get more role models trained up, actually. So there may be something there as well. Dave.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions? Bear in mind that we will be sharing with you all the slides as well with all the links, so you can have a look through everything. Chloe?
Thank you. Firstly, just to reiterate what Michaela's and AJ's already said, that the reason that we want to highlight the STEM ambassadors, computing ambassadors, is because it does very much complement the Digital Champion Network. Myself and AJ have worked very closely for a few years now, so we have been at Aspiration Digital. Digital Kent have been the headline sponsor actually for the last 2 years, and we hope to do that again in the future, and hopefully some other events that we've been discussing where yourselves as digital champions can hopefully get involved. And Michaela will keep you up to date with those sort of opportunities. It's very easy, obviously, with the digital champions. A lot of the work you're doing is out with the residents who are adults or older people or part of Age UK or other sort of charities or third parties. But we do a lot with education, and we do a lot with younger people. It's just about understanding what those opportunities are. And if you are keen on doing that sort of work, either directly through the things we're doing or by signing up as other ambassadors, then we can only encourage you to do that. So like the activities, if you become a STEM ambassador, you could log that activity on Digital Unite as a digital champion to say that I've done this event or I've helped at this activity, because it's still enhancing digital skills of people in the community. Just wanted to reiterate that. And then I just have a question, maybe for James or AJ, well, actually anyone, or Nicola. So with the STEM ambassadors, you talked about engagement with different varieties of people. One that you mentioned was parents. Now, anyone who's worked in education, including myself, knows that engagement with parents is not always the easiest. So do you have an example just to share of how, with the STEM ambassador scheme, you have shared that knowledge with parents to maybe help them understand and engage more with the work that you're doing?
James, do you want to say some bits and pieces from the STEM Ambassadors program?
Yeah. Actually, we're doing one very recent, coming up soon. What was our first time actually doing something like this? So it's called Great Science Share. So it's a national program, and in Kent, there's actually only ever been one event ever, and it's been going for quite a few years now. So we're actually working with 7 to 8 different primary schools, hosting it again, unfortunately, at Discovery Park, just because it's a science place. So it's actually really great history. So we're actually inviting parents down to actually engage with the children to showcase actually what they've learned. So their whole point of this event will be for them to go and actually answer a question, what they come up with themselves. So we've heard recently from what they did last year, a student wants to know how many stars are there in the world in space. What's a very ambiguous question to even ask? and find out. So they use secondary resources, and what they do on the day, they'll have their own stand and actually showcase what they've been doing to fellow peers of their children, to other children like from other schools. Their parents will be actually asked to come down. Also, we're going to get colleagues from Discovery Park who work there from lots of different organisations to come down and actually speak to the children. So I'd say that type of activity was very more, I'd call it like a community space to actually showcase what they've learned, and also for the children to actually go and visit a place like Discovery Park and just give them that wow factor. I think actually it should be a really nice event, and we're aiming it all from, we're going to get some Key Stage 1 children and Key Stage 2. So we're looking for probably 5 to 11 years old as well. So we're hoping to have about 200 to 300 children at least. So it should be quite an interesting event for us.
And from a regional point of view, Chloe and James is also majorly responsible for this. We have the Crawley STEM Fest as well, which is a Saturday when the weather's great. It's fabulous. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Out and it is literally STEM in the park. And it is the most amazing experience because actually the children come along with their parents and they experience hands-on with STEM ambassadors, actually hands-on practical activities of science, technology and engineering and what I call mathematically based subjects as well. So there are so many different ways we can do that. And I remember a few years ago that we, working with a pharmaceutical company, we actually did a bring a parent session as well back into a company. So there are various ways we can do this, but you know, I like you know one of the biggest influences are parents of choices made by young people. So the more we can do, the better.
Great, thank you very much.
Does anyone has any more questions? I'm just scrolling through the list to see I don't miss any raised hands. No. I believe we can always get in touch at a later point as well, and everyone will have your details as well to get in touch and ask more questions if needed later on. We've had someone joining a bit later, so as I said, we will be sharing all of these information and resources, so there will be more chances to get to know these amazing projects and how to participate and join. If there aren't any more questions, I would just thank you all, AJ, James and Nicola for this brilliant presentation. It was really, really interesting, especially for myself because I have a very different background, so I wasn't really. I did do my research before the meeting today, but it's very interesting to learn about all these, and I'm sure everyone found it as interesting as I did. So thank you very much. You're more than welcome to stay on the call. We will be now talking about more digital champion and the network related changes and feedback and things, so you're more than welcome to stay, but I understand if you have other things to attend. Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you and hearing from you, and hopefully see you again very soon.
Yeah, thank you to everybody, and my personal thanks to Nicola and James for joining me today as well. And Chloe, we'll catch up with a lunch and a cup of coffee soon. I'm looking forward to it. You take care. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Lovely. So now, as I was saying, we just wanted to go through, as you might have noticed, there have been a few changes happening within the Digital Champion Network. First of all, I have become the lead for the network, supported by Archie and Chloe, which has always been here. Archie, do you want to introduce yourself a bit more properly now?
Hi, everybody. I'm Archie. It's only my 3rd week, but I'm slowly, gradually getting my head around it. But I'm looking forward to sort of finding new ways to support you guys and find ways to help our community.
Lovely, thank you, Archie. Sorry for putting you on the spot. Just as the more presentation is always nice. As I said, we haven't got many, we haven't had many occasions to maybe see each other or have a talk with you guys. So this is very important for us to to talk to you and for us to talk to us about what your experience is being a digital champion and what can be improved, because that's ultimately what we want, to have a functional network that makes you happy and also make all our residents that we're supporting happy. So talking about the changes, we've been recently introduced the new booking system for the hubs and different sessions that can be booked on. So if you bear with me, I will share my screen so we can go through it together. So as I'm sharing my screen, just a reminder, I might not be seeing you. So if you have any questions, you can ask at the end, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask me on the spot. Right, so can you all see it? Archie, nod if you can see it, because you're the only person I can see. Lovely. So first of all, I just want to go through the very beginning. We have revamped a little bit the Digital Champions Network page. So this is an updated version of what was already there. This is for people who, of course, want to join the network, and so gives all the basic information. However, you can also, you as a digital champion, an established digital champion, you can still search for events and training opportunities from here, as well as find our contact details in case you need anything from us, and log into your Digital Unite platform, other resources for learning and digital hubs, as well as some frequently asked questions. If we then go to the events, we are trying to have all the events collected in this page, so you can click on it, and from the Digital Champions Network page, you can directly go onto the Digital Champions events. They are specific for digital champions and targeting your sort of interests. So we will be adding some more now, as we are in chats and talks with other organizations to provide some more training and some more networking opportunities. So feel free to have a browse around this page, and if there is anything that catch your eye, please register your interest through any of these. So as you can see, you can book your spot through any of these. And the other thing that we have implemented is this page for the volunteering opportunities, which at the moment is only available through the link that we have shared with us. What we are aiming to do is to provide an updated schedule of all the hubs, as well as other workshops and community sessions and other opportunities that requires some of the digital champion knowledge to be supported. So this is to make sure that no one is missing out, and that there is a live version of all the opportunities always available, just one click away from you. And the way for using these is you would select the hub or the session that you think you can support, and then you would click and it would take you to the booking system. So for the digital hubs, as you know, there are 2-hour sessions where then clients can book half-hour slots each for support. So you would have to, now I do apologize, I've been on leave last week and I've just came back today, so I haven't had time to update this, and I will do as of today. But you can see, for example, April, there isn't anything for this specific one because it's scheduled for May the 10th, and you can click on this and add your details for your availability. In this way, we are hoping that if you cannot commit to support a hub or a session on a regular basis, you can still provide support as and when you can. And if you are interested in providing support on a longer basis, you can always let us know and we will try and arrange it for you. So these are the main changes that have happened, and I do appreciate that we have shared this information with you via email, but it was important for us to also talk through this with you. And Chloe, I saw that you had your hand up. No? Oh,
No, not me.
Sorry. It was my, oh, Dave.
Yeah, on the digital hub things, I think we need to think about trying to get the word out, because I've got 2 hub sessions tomorrow and nobody's booked on any of them, and had the same situation last week. So I don't know what's being thought about regarding marketing and letting the folks out there know that these sessions are available.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We are working and trying to spread the word. It is a tricky thing, because of course we do understand the frustration of not having any bookings, and sometimes we do have bookings and then people don't show up or cancel at last minute. We do try our best to put in place. We're working our best to put in place a process which will not waste anyone's time, because that's really not what we want. Doris, I see that you have your hand up, so please, if you want to add anything to what I'm saying.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm Doris, and I primarily look after the sort of the setup and running of the digital hubs. And I have to say that I've been doing the reviews with the libraries recently, and we're trying to make sure we're working more in partnership with them in terms of advertising. So I know that most of them have the posters up and everything, but we've recently sent out a communication to get them to send it to all their staff to kind of, I guess, get them to talk more about the hubs and the way that it can support, because the library staff are the ones that are in there kind of seeing the regular people that are coming along. So we're trying to ensure that they are also helping to promote. And I know that down the line we do have a marketing campaign, hopefully, that we're going to be doing. And partly it's going to be to advertise becoming a digital champion, but the other half of it is also going to be to be advertising the fact that digital hubs are around, and that people can get support from them.
Doris, have you thought about going through the local radio route, so BBC Radio Kent or something like that?
That one I would have to pass on to maybe Chloe and Haya. And I guess that's where this marketing campaign, when we do it, that's when it tends to kind of be a little bit wider than just within the libraries and stuff. Sorry, Chloe, hi.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we know that from the past marketing campaigns that we've done, which have then been on radios, across social media, Spotify, on buses, a huge variety of ways of advertising. We know that that had a big impact on how many digital champions we got in, so we know that it works. So there is a campaign, as Doris said, in the pipeline, which we were hoping would go out in the next sort of month or so. We're just waiting for a few last minute bits, but hopefully radio will be included in that again this year, and hopefully, like Doris said, we're kind of changing the campaign slightly, so that it isn't just about become a digital champion, but it's become a digital champion and these are all the things you can do. So hopefully then that's that sort of cross promotion of the services to residents, as well as becoming a champion. But if you ever come across any other ways that you think we should be promoting locally or wider across Kent, please do message Michaela or Archie, and we can feed that into upcoming plans. So the main campaign that's going to be going out is going to be going out directly through KCC. So that always has a good amount of coverage because they've got a good following centrally. But yeah, anything else locally that we can do, please do always shout, because we're trying to reach as many people as possible. And it's easier in some places than others. I know Canterbury, as an example, are always booked. There's always people in there. And I think there's multiple champions that go and work in there every month, whereas other districts just are a bit quieter. So I think it is about that localized promotion, and it's the people that live locally that understand the best of how to reach those people. So yeah, hopefully we'll see a bit of an influx from the marketing campaign, but yeah, always open to other ideas.
Thank you both for clarifying a couple of things. As I said, because we have undergone some changes, there are some things that we are trying to plan as well. So hopefully once the campaign is out, we can also think of organizing with some of the volunteers in these areas to target. We could organize some events to try and have a meet and greet with people just coming in freely to the libraries or other venues where we could host the hubs and just talk to people like that, and just make sure that we are advertising ourselves, the services that we offer. So it is all happening is gradually. We do appreciate that it takes some time to put everything in place and to understand what are the right moves as well, because we do try. It's a trial and error sort of process, so we do try, and if it doesn't work, we need to think of something else. But as Chloe said and Doris said, please, if you have any ideas of how we could do it, there are please send them through to us, and we're more than happy to explore them with you. As part of this, I know, thank you, Dave, for your question. Are there any other questions around the changes that have taken place in the system, meaning the booking system? Do you guys think that is going to be helpful? We are trying to, I know that there were a lot of emails coming through to you, and it's easy to lose emails in the inbox. So we did try and think of a way that you're not bombarded constantly with reminders and emails about opportunities, but they will be there always for you to view and see. And of course, we're always here on the other side. So if you have any questions or if you need any support from us, we are always here. As I was showing, there are a few events that will be taking place. We're working on a few events as well that will be face to face. So hopefully we can share them with you very soon. Are there any other questions, or are there any other sort of feedback or things that you would like to highlight with us today? No? Right, so as everyone is a bit quiet, so I'm going to ask Archie if he can kindly, we've prepared a little poll for everyone just to make it a bit interactive, just to gather a few information from all of you, even the shy people who might not want to speak up in front of everyone. So if Archie can, as we were saying, we are trying to implement new things and improve the network as we go along. And we know that a lot of you come from very different backgrounds and have an amazing set of skills, and perhaps is not always been utilized. So we would like to reiterate and ask you if there is anything in particular that you can support with. This could be something that is included in the poll that Archie is about to send, or it could be something that you can think of to implement these few things. So there it is. I can hopefully you can all see it.
No, I can't see anything.
Okay. Oh, can anyone see the poll, or is it a shared issue?
No, I can't see the poll. No, I can't. It might be.
Oh,
Is it just me?
I've got one
No.
response on it.
I can see it as well.
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it.
I
Well,
can see
it's
it.
internal,
I
isn't
can't
it?
see it either. So what view do you need to be under? I'm not used to Teams, so.
No, that's fair enough. Right, I'm gonna just read out the question as well, and if you guys want to use the chat instead, technology is great, but also doesn't always work. So the first question of the poll is: does your skill set offer energy efficiency, healthy living, employment skills, and general IT skills? Of course, some of you might have attended some energy efficiency basic knowledge. It wasn't a proper training, but as Digital Kent, we are working now on a variety of different areas to do with digital, but that could include energy, health, or employment skills. So if you have any background in any of these, it would be great to know, as we can have a chat outside of this format to see if you could help us implementing these sort of things within our services that we already offer. Archie, do you want to go with the second poll? And
yeah. The questions are in the chat, aren't they? I think that's where we're seeing them.
Yeah.
Can't see the second question at the moment.
Second question is, are there any other skills that you would like to see implemented in our offer?
I can't see anything in the chat either, I'm afraid. Or
Archie, it might be worth copying and pasting the questions just directly that's not on the poll, and then just putting them in the chat as number 1 and then number 2, and then everyone can reply directly to them. That's it.
I put the number 2. Are there any other skills that you would like to see implemented in our offer? Again, if it's something that you have taken up as a hobby, or if you've worked in different sectors and you have quite a good catch on and you would like to share with the community, or if you've found that people are asking for a certain type of support that you have not received training for from us. Gonna wait a few minutes because this is an open question, so people might be typing. Lovely. Thank you, Dave. And then I'm going to share the next question. Again, this is just to gather an idea of what you guys might be willing to share, support with, or help. And if you have any more questions about this, please let us know. It's just, it gives us something to work on to implement all the services that we've got at the moment. Thank you, Jane, as well, for your answer.
I can't see the question. Is it being
Sorry.
pasted into the chat?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. The third question is, would you be happy to provide some support virtually or via telephone?
Right.
Thank you, Merle. Lovely, thank you.
I can't see that third question.
I don't know. I don't know why it's not showing in the chat. But yeah, I'm reading it out. Thank you. Do you want me to repeat the question, Robert?
I volunteer with another group as well, SEK, and I've done assistance over the phone during COVID, trying to tell somebody how to teach this lady how to use her phone.
Okay.
While she's using the phone. Not easy.
No, I can imagine that. I can imagine that. That's a real. But you have all the experience that we need then.
Good fun.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Thank you everyone who replied. And then we had one last question, which I'm going to try and copy and paste again in the chat, but I will read it out as well. And again, this was sort of, I did try it already and ask you, but it's really important for us to make sure that we are working and doing something that actually works for all of you. So what do you think about the new system in place for the Digital Champions Network, including the booking system and the events planner, and how we're doing things as we are now? So do you think it's working? If there is anything that needs improving, please let us know.
I think I need training on Teams. I just can't even find out how to type a message in.
We can do that. I had struggled myself to begin with, and now I cannot use any other platform.
I'm not used to this, and I'm running it through a browser on a laptop that doesn't belong to me, and it's a nightmare. And I can't even get a camera going, so
that's completely understandable. And sometimes Teams is great, however sometimes it plays up as well, so let's blame Teams.
Let's blame Microsoft. I like blaming Microsoft.
I think we all do. But yeah, it could be something around Teams as well, as is something that we use primarily as a platform for communication, and a lot of our meetings are online. We could improve some of it, and I'm sure that if we have anyone in this call or in the network that has any knowledge on it, we can even have you teaching everyone else how to use and do things. That will be nice, and a great occasion as well to get to know each other, because I know we all volunteer in different places, so you don't necessarily get to know other people in the network. And that was the last question. So I thank you all very much for attending today, and it was lovely to see some of your faces or hear some of your voices, and hearing back from you. I'm just reading Alan. Okay, yeah, we will still be sending some emails and reminding you if there are any new opportunities out, just to make sure that people are not just forgetting about the existence of the Digital Champion Network, but hopefully it won't be a long email that it requires you to read through and then come back to us. And also, we are aware that sometimes doing things via email, there are people who say, oh, I can volunteer here, and then another person comes along, and it's quite not always so nice having to say, oh, sorry, we've already filled out the spot. Having it online, you can clearly see if the session is already being filled out and the service is still required or not. So hopefully we'll mitigate this issue that is known to us. Sorry, Dave, were you trying to say something?
No, wasn't.
Oh, sorry. I just saw you moving closer to the camera. I just thought you were about to say something. Charger, we only have one generic email address to contact, and I don't know he's going to reply. All right, so thank you for this. Usually I appreciate this. As I said, this meeting today was also to introduce myself and Archie, which will be the primary two people looking within the Digital Champion inbox. We will try our best to put our signatures at the end of it, so you know who you're talking to. And so as the point of contact, it will either be myself or Archie. So even if you call through the landline, if you ask to talk to either myself or Archie, we will be able to assist, and you won't have to talk to a lot of other people who might not necessarily know the answers to your questions.
I mean, I usually get emails. I can get emails from yourself and from Charlotte and Daisy. If we put something like "for the attention of" and put a name in, does that help you guys?
Yeah. I've seen a few, Dave, from you that was to my attention. The thing is, yes, because me and Archie primarily look after the Digital Champion inbox to do with any query around volunteering. However, then when it comes to hubs, the reminder gets sent out by other team members.
Yeah.
So you will be in touch with Marcia, Charlotte, Daisy and Doris as well. We are hoping to put together some open door sessions where you can get to know us as well, because I do appreciate that communicating via email, you don't always know who's on the other side, who's the best person to get in touch with. So these are in our calendars. We hopefully will be sharing some dates soon, and it will be brilliant to get to know you and for us to explain a bit more about our different roles and for you to get a real understanding of who deals with what within the team as well. Well, thank you very much for all your feedback and for being here. I hope that you enjoyed as well the AJ, Nicola and James speeches about STEM learning, and if you're interested, please get in touch with them. I will be sharing the recording for who's interested and the slides